wanted to surprise my wife, so I walked in without warning. And she was openly snoring with her coworker, so I do this to her. Here's the backstory. We met in high school and hit it off immediately, doing everything together and having a relationship unlike any other. She was stunning. He was both a great figure and a great person. We went through all of the ups and downs together and always came out stronger. We're as if we were born to be. That's what I assumed. By the way, I'm 26 and she's 25. Things were going swimmingly. We'd been married for 3 years and had recently purchased a new home. I had also recently started a well-paying job, so money was not an issue. I had to travel to Chicago for a business trip. I had planned to return early this morning, but my trip was cut short, and I arrived home yesterday morning. It was our wedding anniversary. So I decided to surprise her by arriving home early. My flight arrived at 6 o'clock a.m. When I arrived at our house, I noticed an extra vehicle in the driveway. I assumed she had a girlfriend stay with her to keep her company. I didn't think much of it until I came in the back door and noticed a pair of men's shoes there. I began to panic, but I tried to remain calm. Maybe her brother stayed over, I kept telling myself as I slowly walked down the hallway to our room, a rush of anxiety and fear coursing through me. I walked by the guest bedroom and noticed it was empty, and that's when it hit me like a freight train. I walked over to our bedroom door, took a deep breath with tears streaming down my face, and quietly opened it. My wife was sleeping in our bed with one of her coworkers, right next to her clothes and underwear on the floor. On the nightstand, there was an empty bottle of Ciroc vodka. I have no idea what happened to me. I just went cold and lifeless. My body seemed to have shut down from the amount of pain that had just slapped me in the face. I slammed the door shut and crept back down the hall into the kitchen, where I sobbed on the floor. I kept asking myself, why? And what went wrong? After about 10 minutes, I gathered myself and returned to the room. I took out my phone, activated the video recorder, and propped it up on the bookshelf, facing the bed. I'm not sure why I said what I did, but this is basically how the conversation went. When did I wake her up? She was lying on her side, facing the wall. She was apparently still too drunk to notice that the guy was still in the bed next to her. Me, happy anniversary. Her with a smile on her face. On your house. Happy anniversary, honey. Me, I was going to make some breakfast. Would you like me to make you some? Her, I'd love that. Babe. Me. What about the guy who's sleeping in our bed next to you? Would he like me to make him some breakfast as well? I noticed her terrified expression. I stood up, grabbed my cell phone from the shelf that had been recording, and pointed it at them for a second to make sure I had their faces, then put it in my pocket while it continued to record, evidence in case I needed it. Then I exited. When I went into the kitchen to make a cup of coffee, I could hear her crying and trying to put on clothes. By then the man had awoken and bolted out the front doorway. She came running down the corridor, tears streaming down her cheeks, and began apologizing to me. This was her first time getting drunk. She cares about me. Blah blah blah. I just stood there with a blank expression on my face, drinking the coffee. Then I just looked at her and told her to pack her belongings and go stay with her mother. She knelt on the floor and wrapped her arms around my legs, pleading with me not to do this. I could tell she was scared because she began hyperventilating while crying and trying to get me to talk to her. All I could say was, please leave me alone. After about an hour of doing this, she finally packed her belongings and left. Then I burst into tears. I drank a fifth of Jack Daniels and played on the floor, letting it all out. I'm feeling extremely ill. I wanted to ask why, but deep down, I didn't want to know. I'm not ready to talk about it right now. And I'm at a loss as to what to do. She has called me about 50 times since yesterday. She left about 20 voicemails of crying and begging. I want to forgive her because I love her, but I'm not sure I can because this has destroyed me so much. I'm afraid to talk to her right now because I might lose it. And I don't want to do that. How should I handle this? What should I do? Update. Her mother called my wife and apologized for what had happened, saying she understands the pain because it happened to her with her first husband. She believes, from the bottom of her heart, that it was a mistake that happened only once, and she would completely understand if I wanted a divorce. She asked me to speak with my wife. Sarah, it appears, has locked herself in the back room of her parents' house and has refused to eat or leave since she arrived yesterday morning. Her employer called because she didn't show up. She told her parents that she would only come out if I talked to her, that she despises herself for what she did and does not deserve the life she ruined. Her stepfather has threatened to kick the door in to get her out, but she is laying against the door and he is afraid of hurting her. Now I feel like a complete moron. Why is she doing this to me? I don't think I have a choice. She is pressuring me to speak to her before I'm ready. I'm concerned about what will happen to her if I don't go over there. This is heinous. You're right, she's being selfish. Thank you for the advice. I'm glad I posted it. If anything, her body's natural survival instincts will kick in and she will come out to eat. Even if she goes back in there right after, I shouldn't mind because this is her fault, not mine. And I don't deserve to be blackmailed in this way. She'd wait until instant messaging is ready. Not when she wants to talk. I'm not going to try to fix it. I'm going to try to put an end to it. Take my word for it. The thoughts that ran through my mind after walking in there and confronting the guy would have ended very badly for both him and me. She's not worth going to jail for it. I don't care if she respects me. Her actions speak for themselves. She never did anyway. So what was the point of confronting this guy if I wasn't going to show her how upset I am? It's pointless. It won't make her respect me. And I didn't want her respect because it's not worth having. I wanted answers. My respect will come from walking away and finding someone better down the road. I'd never forgive her for this. And I couldn't even if I wanted to and tried. I still haven't spoken to her and have no idea if she's still locked up in that room. I don't want to see her face, as much as it pains me to say it, because I did love her. And we shared so much for so long. Seeing her would make me sick. I'm not sure how the divorce process works because I've never had to go through it or felt the need to gather information until now. It will undoubtedly learn tomorrow when I speak with a lawyer. Serving her the divorce papers will suck because he'll have to go over there and see her and have her ramble on more bull crap to me, sobbing and whatnot, as good as it will feel, handing them over with a big mental middle finger in her face. I wonder if my lawyer would deliver them instead. Update: as far as I know, there is no law in Michigan that prohibits spouses from being unfaithful. They apparently got rid of it because it could be used as a form of retaliation. The credit cards are in our own names. I have 3, she has 2, and we have 1 joint bank account, on which I've canceled my direct deposit. The majority of the bills would be automatically withdrawn from. The house and the 2 vehicles are in both of our names, but I make the payments on my truck and she makes the payments on the car. Her parents gave us the down payment on the house as a wedding gift, but I paid 80% of all the bills until about 6 months ago, when she finished her nursing program and got a job. So, as I previously stated, we will have to consult with a lawyer on this. As a result, I'm unfamiliar with the procedure. She can have all of the furniture in the house. I just want the things I brought from my apartment when we moved in, and they'll just buy new furniture, and the TV in the basement is coming with me and all my tools. For the time being, I intend to live in a small 1-bedroom apartment. I've been staying at a friend's house. There was no way I was going to stay at our house after that. So we'll go over there later today to get stuff packed and figure out what's staying and what's coming with me. Even though it will be painful, I must decline the polygraph because I already know what I need to know. And it'll eventually confront her about what happened, just to see what nonsense she comes up with out of curiosity. It stinks because feelings of betrayal, resentment, sadness, and pain are basically consuming me right now. And it's almost unbearable. I'm trying hard to keep a clear head, but it's haunting me, and I'm physically sick and drained. My parents also divorced. Not as a result of deception. It was as if the love had vanished. And it was like a business agreement, and I never thought it would happen to me. I wasn't prepared for this, and I certainly wasn't prepared for what she did. Trying to hold me together, but inside I feel like I'm crumbling to pieces and can barely think. And a lot of the time I don't want to because the images keep popping up. I'll talk to the lawyer. And before I go out and get an apartment, I know better than to just run off and get my own place and move everything I own out before this is legally settled. I just want to pack a few things they'll need while I'm at my friend's house for a few days and get a sense of what will be coming with me when it's all said and done. Some may think that walking out of there was a weak move on my part. I acted as if I didn't care if I wasn't yelling, punching, and throwing. I guess I felt she wasn't worth the reaction. If you don't give a damn, why should I? It probably got to her, and she wondered why I didn't react. Why didn't I show her how pissed off and upset I was? I'd always react when she mentioned the creepy guy who hit on her at the grocery store or at work. When guys hit on her at the bar while we were both there and ID stepped in, she never flirted back. At least when I was there, and she never did when I wasn't. Even though I know that's a load of bull, I was itching to drag the jerk into the street and wait for the ambulance with a smile on my face while scraping the remains of the man with a shovel because she seemed to enjoy the attention and the way I would react as her protector. I wasn't going to give her the satisfaction of a reaction. I'd rather have it sting even more to hand her the divorce papers and leave her in the dust.